Hello, sweet friend. My name is Maike, and in this video, I would like to have a chat about my journal lineup. Not only is it the middle of the year, but I am about to travel again. If you're new here, I've been visiting my parents in Germany for the last 3 months, and now my husband and I are looking at traveling to the UK for a little while. And so I am currently very much in the packing and sorting phase of traveling, and I am very aware of bulk, I'm very aware of empty pages, and so it just made sense to revisit what I'm taking with me or what maybe is staying with my parents in Germany. And so I thought maybe you would like to hear what that process has been like. And so maybe we start with these two journals, and actually, you know what, this should also be included here in my little passport weekly insert, because these three are my main memory keepers for this year. And right out of the gate, I can say that the point of view journal is definitely coming with me. This is definitely staying. This is so fun. I love this. I just draw a little scene of my day, just a little highlight or a moment that stuck with me. And I love this very, very much. And so this is definitely going into the suitcase. And, you know, it's not that big of a book. So, yeah, that is definitely staying. And then I used this weekly passport insert to also capture some highlights of the day, just a very quick glimpse of what was going on in each week. And then I often would decorate it with stickers, so that has been really, really fun. However, with things having been so busy, I have switched over to using this to just capture the day in a written format, and this is just to help guide some of the other journals. For example, if I don't have time to do my daily sketch on the day, then I have this as a reference. And because this becoming more of a reference, it's been living in my Paper Republic pocket journal, and this I have in my bag and with me at all times, and so I just have that in the back here. So if nothing else, I can fill this in, and I'm going to use the second half of the year version of this for the same purpose. And this has been serving me really, really well. Again, I just have this in my bag and with me at all times. And in here I have this plastic zipper pocket that I use for just bits and pieces that I come across. And then I have one of the inserts from Paper Republic where I just keep scratch notes, things that come up while I'm out and about. And I don't want to forget. And I don't know why this isn't on a string, so I will have to fix that. And then I have a cut down Midori A6 notebook in here that I'm using as a sketchbook for on the go. This was in Heidelberg at a really lovely cafe, drawing some cats, and I don't even know how well the pencil sketches show up on video, but this was a sketch of a very popular bridge in Heidelberg, just capturing my first impression of what that looked like. So yeah, this is going really, really well. This is not really part of the category of memory keeper. However, it just came up because of the passport insert. And so this is definitely staying as well, because this has been really, really useful. And I love this leather so much. Really beautiful. This is the cognac collar of the Paper Republic. So yeah, but on to the other memory keeper, which is the Midori One Day, One Page. And I love this journal. I think the design is so beautiful. Just that little bit of structure is really useful to not get overwhelmed with a blank page, but it gives you so much flexibility. And the same is true for the monthly calendars. Here I would just keep an overview and have fun with putting stickers on there. So I love this journal. However, I have decided that this is going to be archived just simply because I feel like I'm carrying around so many empty pages, and though that in and of itself, I mean, this isn't too heavy. I mean, it's a thick book. It has a page for every day of the year, but I can only use this for memory keeping, like this is the sole purpose of this stack of papers. And I have decided to switch to a traveler's notebook setup, which in and of itself isn't, I mean, this actually feels heavier, and it's not that much slimmer, if even. However, right now I have in here 4 inserts, and this just gives me a lot of different types of journals that I can use. And so let's take a look, and I hope I can explain this so that it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to me, and that's really the only thing that matters. Your journals and notebooks should work for you and for the phase that you're in your life. Like, I bought this because I didn't know that we would be traveling so much this year. So, you know, things have changed, and so therefore it makes sense that maybe my setup changes. So I bought this secondhand. So the previous owner had sticky pockets in here, kind of cute. So I put some decoration in there, and I have decided to get the weekly vertical for the second half of the year, simply because I want to give this layout another shot. I tried it out last year. Was it last year? I think so. And I always love seeing it when other people do this and capture an overview of the week. And I am a big fan of overviews like that. Even in the passport, I had quite a bit of fun with that. And I think it's useful to have one journal that isn't a page per day, but that is dated in some way, because it helps me keep track of it a little bit more in a measured, sort of like rhythmic layout, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I'm gonna see how it goes. Yeah, but I'm excited. So this would be also a creative memory keeper. And then I have just a regular cream insert, and I'm hoping, yeah, I am in frame, where I'm gonna do my creative memory keeping. I have done a couple I've started to set up some spreads. Let's see, there's a couple things that I don't want to show just yet. But for example, here I have journaled about my experience at the Dutch pen show. So these are in here already. So really, really fun. And I'll share more about this, of course, as we go on. But I've just moved in, and I'm finding my bearings, even though I've done a lot of journaling in a traveler's notebook. I don't know if you know that feeling where you feel like a little wobbly at the beginning, especially because this format is so different, I feel like, than a lot of other journals. So yeah, that's just gonna be what was happening in here, just that I can swap them out more frequently, and I'm only ever concerned about the next couple of weeks of empty pages rather than the bulk of the year. So yeah, that's that. And then I have in here and I have this in one of the craft folders. So I have the craft folder hold 2 inserts, and then I have 1 insert in the middle. I don't know if that made a lot of sense, but this insert I got at the Dutch Pen Show from the brand Pen Gallery, and they bought up old stock of Tomoe River paper in 68 GSM, and I'm gonna have this be my ink journal. Currently, I don't have a separate notebook for an ink journal because I figured that I'm adding just another notebook with another big chunk of empty pages, and so this setup, basically, this is what I mean by these empty pages are just for one specific use, which is creative memory keeping. And with this, though it's the same weight and almost the same thickness, I get a lot of different uses. So I actually get to have a separate ink journal again. And then in this back sticky pocket, I have one of the Traveler's Notebook lined inserts, and that is because I want to use this to, well, reflect on some of my experiences traveling, but also because I am switching things up when it comes to what I'm taking with me for my writing and story projects. So this lined insert is potentially gonna hold some writing projects and maybe some commonplacing. So anything that feels like I wanna just write is gonna go in there, and it's gonna be a bit of a catch-all because I also don't want to go overboard with inserts. So there's that. But speaking of writing projects, and let me get those other notebooks out of the way a little bit. So what I took with me were these 3 notebooks, and this is, I love this cover so much. It's so beautiful. I love this fabric cover. This is from Hobonichi in 2024, maybe. But this houses my, and I'm holding it upside down. In here, I have my storytelling research journal, or a storytelling commonplace book, however you want to think of it. And in here, I just keep notes on different things about storytelling, and keep notes on some storytelling related video essays that I watch or blog posts that I read. And this is a lot of fun for me. I don't get to do it very often. So again, we're talking about carrying around a lot of empty pages that I don't get to use very much, especially while traveling. And so what I've done is I recently set up this cutie right here. This is a Me Plus leather ring binder, and I love this thing so much too. And this houses some of my story ideas where I want to develop stories for them. I have a section on character and story development for a comic that I'm working on. So this is like very project specific notes, and a section where I kept some helpful tips and resources. And so what I've done is I've extended this section, and some of the more practical information that I've had in my research journal, I've copied into this last section here. So I think I just added, this was all in here already, something about clues and red herrings, because I'm trying to write a mystery story for kids. And some more about like structuring suspense and things like that. More red herring information, the East Asian 4-act story structure, because I find that fascinating. Yeah, those kinds of things. And so I think I am okay with this living with my parents for a while. I love this thing. I love the cover. I love the notebook. It's just something that I just, if I'm honest with myself, I don't get to use enough. And with this sort of giving me an opportunity to have a separate place where I store this kind of information, even if at some point I just, move this information back in here once I'm reunited with this, I'm totally fine with this staying in Germany for a while. And then similarly, I had this ginormous, or seemingly ginormous, B5 notebook. It's a sequence one. And in here, I use this to write my actual story. And I've noticed that the bigger pages are great because you can really have space to think and restructure things and analyze stories, and have a lot of space for example, like writing out the whole story beat per beat. And so this is really useful, but again, like there's more empty pages than there are pages that I have used. And so I think for right now, I'm going to be okay with the combination of having some of the process information, or even writing out certain things in my story binder. And then if I need more space to really think through beats and things like that, I'll have my lined insert in the back, which is going to be a little bit of a catch-all. But again, if we're talking about trying to be minimalistic, then I'm going to be fine with that. And so this is going to stay home as well. And so really, these 3, is it? Yeah, these 3 notebooks are going to stay in Germany, and all of what I'm doing or was doing in there can just live in these two. And then I'll have this as my, just toss it in any bag. Really, it fits in my smallest bag, so I can really have this with me at all times. And then this, because this is just absolutely precious, and I love this thing so much. And so, yeah, we really are going down to these 4, plus a regular sketchbook, but that's okay. So yeah, these are the only 4 that I'm taking along with me. And of course, I'm gonna keep you updated with how this is working. Sometimes you just gotta make a decision. It's a little, as someone who loves their notebooks and who's an overpacker, this is a really interesting experience, because I know that I have this opportunity right now to leave some notebooks safe with my parents, but I'm not quite sure when I'm gonna have access to them again. So even though it's not a permanent goodbye, it is a little bit of a, but I don't know. So I really, for the foreseeable future, can't change my mind in getting these back unless I have my parents ship it to me, but you know, that's gonna be very expensive. But yeah, we're gonna get through it. And oh yeah, these were some other little ideas and things that I found recently, and I need to properly process them in the ring binder. So there's that. But yeah, that's the setup for right now. And let me know in the comments, is there something that is changing for you? Has life sort of reshifted itself where you felt like certain things were no longer fitting? I always love hearing what you're using and what the thought process is like for you. If you would like to support this video and let me know that you've made it this far, leave me an airplane emoji in the comments. I really do appreciate that you're watching this and being here and commenting. And I hope things are going okay for you. And until next time, happy journaling.